Hi, friends. Kathy here with Kathy Brown Nutrition, and I hope you are all having a wonderful Wednesday. Today, I wanted to talk with you a little bit about a very important mineral in your body, magnesium. I know talking about minerals probably not the most exciting topic, but minerals are well, not minerals, but magnesium specifically. Minerals are very, very important to your diet, but magnesium specifically is a very important mineral for active women over 40. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about the why, how to ensure that you're getting plenty, and where you can find it. First, I want to start with a little story of my own because I do have some unfortunate experience with this. I suspected that maybe I was a little deficient in magnesium, as it is easy to be deficient. And I went to my primary care and I requested that she draw red blood cell magnesium. Well, most providers will automatically default to testing serum blood levels of magnesium. And unfortunately, serum levels of magnesium aren't really going to tell you whether or not you have a deficiency unless it's pretty severe. Because most of the magnesium in your body is stored inside your bones or inside cells. And so your body keeps the levels in your serum blood levels pretty stable until there's a pretty significant deficiency, and then it'll start to show up in serum levels. So if you do ever want to have your magnesium levels tested, you need to specifically request that they test the red blood cell levels. That way they're testing how much magnesium is actually inside the cell. So that kind of leads me to an issue. Well, I shouldn't say most, but magnesium has become a little known, pretty prevalent deficiency. And because we don't really have a great way of testing magnesium on a regular and consistent basis, it's not really known how many people are deficient in this mineral. And so the estimates are that maybe as much as 50% of the population is deficient, and we just don't even know it because magnesium is involved in hundreds of reactions in your body. And so the symptoms can be really wide ranging, and you may think that it's something else completely and not even suspect that it may be a mineral deficiency. And unfortunately, sometimes our healthcare providers don't spot that or think about that as a possibility either. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, first of all, the symptoms, the signs and symptoms to look out for, and then we can talk about how to make sure you're getting enough. But first, let's kind of backtrack a little bit and note why magnesium is so important. So I mentioned that it's involved in hundreds of reactions in your body, and some of those are really, really important to your wellness and how you feel. Some of them include maintaining and building bone. There's also glucose metabolism, glucose being the primary form of carbohydrate in your body for energy. Energy production, producing DNA and RNA, which, I mean, that's your genetic code. It's extremely important. Also, muscle function and electrolyte and fluid balance. It also plays a role in protein production. So we know protein is the building blocks of your body and of muscle. And if you're an athlete, if you're active, it's really important to be able to not only build and maintain that protein, those muscles, but also energy production is really critical. And for that reason, athletes in particular are susceptible to magnesium deficiency because we do utilize so much more energy. And we do have to contract those muscles. And like I said, magnesium is involved in muscle maintenance as well and muscle contraction. So, as an athlete, just automatically, you're more susceptible to having lower levels of magnesium just because you need so much of it. But then when you tack onto that, the fact that you, if you're watching this, you're likely a woman over 40. We have these irregular hormonal cycles once we get closer to menopause. And whether you're in menopause yet or not, like you have this lead up period where your hormones are changing. And something that is pretty common in this time period leading up to menopause that we call perimenopause is something called estrogen dominance. So magnesium plays a huge role in helping your body to get rid of any excess estrogen or any estrogen that like is already been utilized and needs to be excreted from the body. So magnesium plays a big part in that. And when you have more estrogen than your body needs, it can cause symptoms like headaches and migraines or loss of sleep. And we all know that as we get older, those are issues that can be a pretty common problem. So, that said, the key to knowing whether or not you may need to increase your magnesium intake is to really paying attention to those symptoms. Like I said, the estrogen dominance can lead to headaches, migraines, and loss of sleep. And some of the other symptoms that you should be on the lookout for are constipation, depression, mood swings, anxiety. If that's become an increased problem, it could be related to magnesium levels. Another thing is muscle cramps or twitching. I personally suspected, this is why I asked my primary care to test my magnesium levels, is I was personally experiencing a lot of muscle cramps in my feet and toes, and that's not normal. So I suspected that. I was also having a lot of fatigue, which is a very common symptom as well. And I was also experiencing a lot of constipation and loss of sleep and stuff. So these are key symptoms. Additionally, some other symptoms that you may experience with low magnesium levels is high blood pressure, headaches and migraines, like we talked about, and insulin resistance or high blood sugar levels. So as we get older, insulin resistance becomes more of a risk. And magnesium, as well as your thyroid, these are things that play a role in that. So you want to make sure you have plenty of magnesium in your body to help you feel well and have energy, and be able to clear that sugar from your blood efficiently. So many reasons that magnesium is great. And bones. I mean, we all know that as we get older, we tend to lose bone mass, and that magnesium, it's not just calcium, magnesium and phosphorus are also very important for that as well. So, how do you get magnesium? Magnesium is typically very abundant in plant foods. So fruits and vegetables, nuts, legumes, and which includes like beans and peas and stuff. The problem with that is in recent decades, the rise in industrial farming has depleted our soil of a lot of the minerals that used to be really rich in the soil where we grew our food. And so a lot of the foods that we eat these days don't have as much magnesium as they would have decades ago. And so that becomes an issue with trying to determine how much magnesium we're getting from our diets, and especially if you eat a diet that is rich in processed foods, you're probably not getting much magnesium at all. Or if you don't eat like a lot of fruits and vegetables and plant-based foods, then your magnesium sources are very, very limited. I don't generally recommend that you jump immediately to a supplement, but given the unquantifiable depletion of magnesium in our food sources these days, and the fact that we do become at higher risk for magnesium depletion as we get older, and the more active that we are, then sometimes a supplement is necessary. And, I wouldn't say you automatically should take a magnesium supplement just because you're a woman over 40 who is active. But if you are experiencing any of the symptoms that we talked about, then it could be a good idea. So how much magnesium do you generally need? Well, the recommendations for women, just general population, is 310 to 320 milligrams per day. And if you eat a diet rich in fruits and vegetables and whole grains and nuts and seeds and stuff and beans, then typically you should be able to reach that level. But like I said, the food sources don't have as much as they used to. And as a female over 40 who is an athlete or who is highly active, then you do need more. And so the question remains, how much more? And we really don't have an answer for that. So you just really have to keep an eye out for those signs and symptoms to see if you need to boost your intake of those foods, or alternatively take a supplement. There are several different types of magnesium supplements, so I would recommend you speak with a dietitian or a healthcare provider who is familiar with magnesium and magnesium supplementation to get some guidance on what type and what dosage. But generally, a lot of magnesium supplement manufacturers will give you like a 400 milligram dose. That's pretty high, and it can cause some GI discomfort, some diarrhea and gas and bloating for some people. So I personally wouldn't start at 400 milligrams. I would start lower at 1 to 200 milligrams if you feel like you need a supplement. Like I said, serum blood tests, which is typically what a healthcare provider will order if you ask to test magnesium, it's not going to be as accurate as a red blood cell test, but some insurances will not cover a red blood cell test. So I would just say talk with your healthcare provider, talk to a dietitian, tell them what your symptoms are, tell them, how you're feeling, and talk through whether or not it makes sense to start a magnesium supplement. All right. But again, if you can get it through your food, please do so. But just listen to your bodies, pay attention to your bodies, pay attention to those symptoms. Like I said, magnesium is involved in so many reactions in the body. It's so widespread. It's not going to be just in one area. So if you're getting like just random stuff throughout the body, really kind of look at, could this potentially be due to a deficiency? Magnesium hasn't historically been something that healthcare providers would look at. I think it's gaining a little bit more attention because of the importance of it, but we as women have to be advocates for our own healthcare, and I personally have never had a provider mention magnesium as even a possible deficiency. So you may need to bring that to their attention and ask them about it. All right. So I'm going to cut this off at that. And so we're keeping this nice and short and sweet. But if you want any more information, I do have a blog post that I wrote specifically about magnesium on my website. It's kathybrownnutrition.com. It's Kathy with a K. You can always send me messages. My email is Kathy with a K at kathybrownnutrition.com. And you can also find me over in my Facebook group called Fit, Fearless, and Fed Women Run the World if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're already a member of Fit, Fearless, Fed Women Run the World, then hello again and welcome back. All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Thank you.